All right, I think we are live again. Con te Gnome, con te Formica, e con voi everyone who is
Voi,
joining. Con voi, con voi.
Convoy, hi.
So as always, we're gonna wait couple of minutes so that everyone can start to join the live stream. And for those who are joining now, if you want to write in the comments where you are from and where you are connecting from, that's always so nice to start to perceive us as a big network of researcher, of people that love to talk about this topic, and so we can have, let's say, a glimpse of where everyone is. By the way, today we are at the 11th episode. So for me, Cagnomo, 11th episode together here
Good
on
number. Huh?
Good Number. And the topic, it's, as you may have seen on Instagram or maybe through our emails and so on, it's about change. And as always in this episode is the opportunity to meet together, exchange, discuss on topic issues that affect our everyone lives, our daily life, in order to find this, let's say, answers or even the questions that can help us to go through um, all the topics that we are talking, but also through our daily life. So we're gonna talk about change, how to embrace the change, how to overcome the difficult moments of change, how to find that inner strength that can help us to really face and overcome again the change, and of course to answer to all the questions that is going to come in the live chat. So feel free to write whatever you feel to, from your situation that you are facing, from your point of view, or to whatever you want to hear us to talk about this specific topic. I think we are ready to start, and as always, we try to take a pictures about the theme of the episode, that in this case is change. So I always ask you to Gnamo, in this case to Formica. And Formica, if you want to start, you can also present yourself a little bit, because I think it's the first time you are here with us in the English version, right?
It's true.
It's the first
Right.
time. Okay. So you
the
also have
first
the
one.
chance to tell something about yourself and what you do in Damanhur, about your story and so on. But please help us to begin to understand from your point of view what is change. When we talk about change, what we are talking about, at least your point of view about this big, big topic. Okay, let's start like that. And if everyone is following us right now, want to write in the comments your point of view, we're gonna discuss it later on. Who want
Great.
to start?
Please,
Gnomo?
Formica,
Go
you're
for
welcome.
Mika. Go for
Okay.
Mika.
Okay. So, few things about me. I came to Damanhur when I was 21 years ago, and this has happened 40 years ago. So it's 40 years that I live in Damanhur, and in Lavan, I would say that life in Damanhur has been a constant change from any point of view. From the point of view of the place where I have lived, so I've changed many, many different families or nucleos or communities. I have changed many. I improved my skills in many different fields. So I have done different jobs, and I
Husbands?
husband. No, no, just
No,
No.
two.
only one,
Only
Oh,
two.
two.
that can be a big topic for
I
the
didn't.
next episode.
Next episode, how to change your husband in the right way. I'm joking.
I didn't dare to change too many ones.
Okay.
Okay, so and I have faced big change. One, just to say, I was always convinced in my life I would have not have a kid, and I also have lived that amazing change of idea and life because I have a son. So that's me.
Thank
in
you for
I
Mika
put
for your presentation. So I would say now Nyomo. So you take the chance to tell something about the change from your point of view. How do you feel it? How do you live it? Give us a first pictures of this big topic that is change.
So I have to I have to say that I was always very scared about change in my life. But like for Mika, I went to Damanhur 30 years ago when I was very young. And from that moment on, my life started to change constantly. As I think it's a common experience of all the Damanhurians, because especially um, 20, 30, 40 years ago, when Damanhur was a little seed, very fragile, and we were still shaping the core of community, we were always in the situation to do big changes in order to survive as a project. We were very fragile, very small. And so the only way, and I think, luckily for Mika, I say luckily, uh, first of all, because of our master was helping us, pushing us to change, we found a way to survive to everything. So to survive, to achieve goals, to achieve also personal goals, it's, I think, in my experience, is strongly connected with the talent to be able to change, to be welcome to the change. But it's not easy, especially because of the cultures we received, the education we received. But this is another aspect.
So thank you, Nyomo. For Mika, do you want to add something? And again, if you are following
Um,
us, please write in the chat what change means to you as well, so we can also read it later.
no.
Yes, for Mika.
Yes, I totally agree with Gnomo. Living in Daman or change, it's one of the core values. I would say that the core values of Daman are the change and diversity. And this together create, of course,
It's
because
explosive.
it's a,
Explosive mix.
yes, exactly. But what is the best idea that I have about change is that change is not a remedy in life. Change is a strategy in living. What it means that we come from a culture, especially we Western people, from in a culture where we think that we need to change when things are going wrong. I'm going not in a good way. So that's the moment in which we need to change. But actually, and this is something that Falco always was speaking about, and it corresponds in my life, actually, it's true. If we change things only when things are going wrong, we don't have the energy to change for the better. And so we should live, and personally, I like to stay in this flow, even if it is very demanding, but with the idea that change is a strategy of living. So we need to change even when things are going well, because if we don't change something, if we don't have the courage, if we don't dare to change, we stop the flow. We close the energy in a circle, and then we start living inside these boundaries, and energy really decrease somehow, even if we are okay, if we are, for example, when living in a nuclear, in a family of with 20 people. I want to say something personal. Unless we want to just take from another point of view. I don't want to speak too long. You
For
let me
Mika,
know.
go on, go on. I mean, all the stories that we can share, I think, are very important to. I mean,
So to be very practical, in a family, it can be of 4 people, it can be of 20 people. But when we live together for such a long time, dynamics, they are the same many times, unless we are really enlightened, right? So sometimes we need to break the pattern, because if we don't do that, and I have lived just this situation in my family. We are very, from long time formed family of 18 people. At a certain point, dynamics become too the same, the same.
Yeah.
And then few people, they decided to leave because we have still a bit of we are aware of this, and so somehow we know that we need to move energies. And just 2 4 people, they left, and the energy in the family is completely shifted. And it's amazing how much the 14 people that are there, everything has changed in the dynamics. So definitely change help us to live in a clever way, always.
Thank you, Formica. Go,
Prego.
andiamo.
I'm thinking about that. It's not so usual to have families of 14 people all around the world.
No, not at
That's-
all. Not
But-
at all.
But something that I've seen also in the questions that some of you send us through Instagram, the one of the most common question that it was connected with what you said about having the energy to face, let's say, the change or the challenge. So I'm also asking to you, have you ever lived a moment where you felt afraid or scared from change? And how did you, in your case situation, find the inner resources or the strength to then overcome that situation? So, for example, to you, Nyomo, have you ever find yourself in such a situation of difficulties? And then how did you manage to find the strength, the energy to overcome that situation?
Yes. Yes. Luckily, yes, more than one time. And it's always not so easy. I think that one of the best solution I ever found is to share my difficulties and to ask for help to other people. It means to open our private ring and be so humble to ask for help, first of all. After that, so when we found the way to ask for some help to other people, and in my experience, but I think in the experience of many people around the world, we have always someone that can help us, friends, people that they can give us a suggestion or a support in many different ways. What I discovered that every time I have found a way to go inside, not beyond, to go inside this trouble, these difficulties, so to open the door of the fear. Every time I discovered something that in my life became a sort of enlightened idea, something that I can't forget. I've understood that the moment of change is, if we, like Formica described very well, is if it's something we are handling, with something that we describe, something we planned because of the strategy. It is also the moment where we are very close with our soul. So the soul, it's something that we completely forget every day because the daily life it's so crazy because every one of us is working, is inside the world, flowing inside many different aspects, my job, my family, my girlfriend, and so on. So it's quite usual to forget that we have a spiritual origin. The moment of crisis, in my experience, they were the moment where I found a way to recontact my soul, where I again asked to myself what I want to do in my life, what is my real goal, what I'm doing for that. Am I working for my happiness and my enlightenment, or am I only surviving and facing the life? So there are always a very special moment. Well, we need some help from other people. We are not Superman, we are not superhero. We need the help of friends, people that we love and that love each other and so on. This is my experience.
Thank you, Nama, for your experience. For Mika, do you want to add something? And again, if you want to write in the chat an experience maybe you are living of difficulties, or if you have some questions about this specific topic, feel free to write it so we can read it and discuss it together. For Mika, have you ever
Um,
found yourself in your experience in such a moment, as Nyamo said, in a crisis moment, in this case, a moment of difficulties, and how did you, what was the magic ingredient?
Absolutely. Not one time, many
Many
times.
times, many times.
Many, many, many.
Two husbands,
Four
with
to
two
five
husbands.
times at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beyond family stuff.
Okay. One
So
son. So
that is even easy. No, I have to say that I face many moments in my life in which I was
Mm,
challenged. Mm. To make an example, in Damanhur, I have been working, I said before, I have changed work many times and function and responsibilities. So one time I found myself in a situation in which in the community, they asked me to take responsibility for the press office. And now imagine press office, the responsibility given to a person that does not speak English. So all what my
I
skills in
I
English.
remember
Do you remember? It was dramatic, not only for me, I think for everybody.
for everyone, for every one of us, because
Pero,
we were
she's going to,
all
what's going on?
uh,
What's going on?
we
We
were
were
all facing aspect like that.
yes, exactly. You were responsible of a company with no experience. I mean, we have been just because Damanhur had to grow so much. We have been all pushed in a situation in which
Mm,
we have had to expose selves, and it hasn't been easy. Absolutely. So, what I learned from this big change in my life, accepting the challenge, even the fear, even the embarrassment, even the all the worst feeling you can imagine, is the power. What is beyond this when you launch your heart beyond the boundaries, and you accept that change, you accept that challenge, because that means such accepting the change in your life. uh, you find the power, because when you do something that you haven't done before and you survive, and you realize that you are not dead,
we're
because
still
sometimes you
there.
feel you're going to die, literally. The first time I remember, still the first time I welcomed in Damanhur an English, the BBC troupe, me now speaking
Wow.
an excellent, not even a good English. I really thought I'm gonna die. Okay,
I'm ready to
but
die.
they
Yes.
enjoyed. What happened is that then when you do that, something shift within yourself, because
Mm,
when you uh, accept the idea, okay, I cannot escape from this situation, and just I will do whatever it is, then in that moment we have access to our power. So for sure it was not an excellent English mind, but at least I took out all the other resources to be just funny, I hope, because
yeah.
they enjoyed, they did a good program. uh, and to be honest, as Jan Yamo said, you don't have to pretend to be at the level, you don't have to pretend to be able to, but just go through the experience and just try, and do your best to survive with everything you can. That's the access to a power, because
Mm.
when you are there at the end of it, you say, oh my God, I did it. It went, it happened. It can happen again. I will survive again. So what's the matter to suffer so much? And what's the matter to try to look for the perfection? Because when we face something that is change, a real change, we are in trouble because we think I will not be able to do this, to have this, to obtain this. I will not find no more this comfort zone, this situation. Okay, you will not, for sure. But what it will be on the other hand, you don't know. So you can accept to do not be in such the same situation, but maybe it's not so worst, maybe it can be better. I know that these are words, and only if you pass through this experience you can really feel it. But with all my heart, really, I want to say that we can still be alive even after situation like that.
It's possible to survive. It's possible to
It's
survive.
possible. We can change. We will
Even
survive.
because it's true. I mean, and I think this is something that maybe every one of us faces, the fact that sometimes we don't know from where to start. So it may be that it's a situation where we feel like, okay, I'm living in a big city, I'm doing my job, I'm doing my things, but life, it seems always the same. I feel not comfortable anymore with job I'm doing, with the lifestyle I'm living, with the person maybe I'm meeting or my partner or whatever. And sometimes we get stuck from where to start. So how do I start a change? Because sometimes it can seem too much or too many things to be changed. Sometimes the things that we want to change is the world. So some people say, I want to change everything around me. So even because so both you and also me have choose to, let's say, change our lifestyle coming to Damanhur. So to completely change our lives, I want to ask you, in your experience, what's the best way to start a change? Um, how can we start even from something maybe small, something? How can we start it? Just let's go through it, because we already touched the point of perfection and doing everything at once, change everything fast, 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 because we always want to do it fast, but then maybe it requires time. So Nyomo, how do you, let's say, strategically say to yourself to face a change? From where do you start? And from your experience, what would you suggest to yourself and to the people that are here listening with us?
Okay. In a nutshell, it's not a joke. In a nutshell, I say that we have to use the hunt strategy, the Formica strategy, the hunt strategy. One of the main problems we have every time we want to change something is our mind, because of the habits, because actually everything in our life came from our choice, came from our because we went there. Okay, of course it's not. Sometimes we say no, it's not in this way. I was pushed to, but actually it is not. So the mind is always someone we have to deal with if we want to change. And in order to to be, to survive to the fight with our mind, we have to do the hunt strategy, I say. So one little piece, one little point every day, something small that we can achieve, and not something very big. The very big transformation is always a trap of our mind. Why? Because facing the big transformation, we can say, okay, it's too much. And so we have not to change. We have an excuse not to change. If we don't want to enter into the excuse method, that is also a strategy of our mind in order to
Sure.
to keep everything the way it is to do something very small that we can really do, but every day, something very small every week, once a week. Um, in this way, like a hunt, we can move only a breadcrumb, only a little breadcrumb, but not, a big transformation. This is a way to start what? A huge transformation. If you put every day in a row, you will see that we have a huge power to transform us, but something we can achieve. So we need a strategy. And we have also something very interesting related with the human being nature. Human being nature is made, is shaped in cycles. Every 7, 14, 15 years, we have moments where everything is shifting from an old style, from an old point of view, from an old life to a new life. In Damanhur, when we talk about new life, we are not only talking about, or other lives, past lives. We are not only talking about lives in other ages, in other epochs. We are also talking about the different ages in my present life. When I was a guy, when I was very young, I was into another past life. It was so different from now, and I've changed, shifting with a crisis, losing a lot of tasting needs, goals, and every time it was usually a crisis because of the culture we have. We are not trained to, we are not prepared, but we have also these other cycles of change. So we need strategies, and we have to discover something more about what we are, what is our machine we are using in this life.
Thank you, Nyamo. Thank you. So basically,
sorry for the longer answer.
No, don't worry, don't worry. So, I mean, we have some comments in the chat saying that you are providing great insights and the conversation is going really great. So again, if you also have some questions about or situation that you want to share in the chat, we are very happy to discuss it together here, together with Nyamo and Formica. So Formica, back to you. What is the suggestion that you give to yourself when you want to change something, and how do you start? From where you start, and from where do you feel is better to start when we want to change something?
Always, when we want to change something, we need to remember why we want to do that. And to me, my best insight is that if I don't change, if I stay in the same habits, my energy will. It's I'm very connected with the idea that we need to increase our energetic, well-being. Life is made of energy. Life is always energy, not that flow. So when we accept some habits, we cannot allow energy to increase. So sometimes we don't need big motivation, okay, to change. So, for example, we don't need to hate the way in which we do this or that. We don't need to arrive at the point again in which we really need to change because we don't like anymore that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But we can just change with the idea that doing so will let energy to okay, this is with no words, but give the idea. So because even if you just break the pattern in which you prepare your dress the day before to go to work, and you are used to do things in the same way, just break a little pattern. Not too many things. I agree with Nyamo. Little things, but you immediately see how much energy immediately goes around this little change. So sometimes um, even to break the pattern in which change the way that you take to go to work, do something different. Take another parking, walk 4 minutes more, do some, just break that pattern. That's easy. We cannot just find justification. Okay, because you are lazy. The problem is every human being is a lazy. We have to accept it. Somehow we are all lazy, right? So we have to be, first of all, think, no, I will not be lazy today. I will do something different. Okay, and then just flow what happened, go to the flow, and many things start, many big things start changing from little details.
Mhm. Thank you, Formica. I have, I think, philosophical question for both of you, and also for the people that are now listening to us, and that sometimes pop up in this conversation. That is the second. Do I change to become something new, or do I change to become more close to myself? So in this era, even in the mainstream spirituality, let's say, or in the personal growth, sometimes we face courses, opportunities, or books, or whatever, that push us to become something new or something different, the best version of yourself, let's say. Okay, like many spots we can see all around this, at least this environment of spirituality. But there are other point of view about it that actually we live in order to be back in touch with our own nature. So it's not like becoming something different, but become what we really are. And in this specific time where we are right now, 2024, since we are very exposed to many spots, marketing. I mean, I was reading a statistic about the States where at least in a day you are exposed to between 300 and 400 different marketing, let's say, push. So it's also difficult to understand who we are and which are the desire that I really have, or which are the desire that someone else sold me. Okay, so the philosophical question is, again, do we change to become something new and different, or do we change to become ourselves? Who want to start?
Like, my answer is very short and simple.
So let's start with you, Formica. Yeah, go for it.
We change to discover who we are. It's simple. We don't know really who we are, because if you stay in a box, how can, and the box are our habits, are all the things that you think about yourself. To change is not only something which is related to action, it's also to related to try to change the way in which you think yourself. For example, you don't have to move things, right? You can even just change idea, which is one of the more important change in life. So we need to change to discover who we really are, because we have so much, so many solutions, so much power, so many insights, so many resources that we don't use ourselves. We don't use anything. So in order to use ourselves and to discover who we really are, I would say we need to change. No, we need to change something, because
Mhm.
if not, we will just believe to the story that has been told about us.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Okay, that is both universal problem. Human being, they cannot do this and they can do this. That's just,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and but also on a personal level, because we accept the storytelling of our family, the storytelling of our friends, but our storytelling is based on, we have to change the storytelling. And so
Thank you, Formica. Yeah, it was very clear. Nyamo, do you want to add something about it?
Maybe I can provide the longer version.
Let's go for it.
Okay. To yeah. I have a shorter version, so in a nutshell version, that is that in order to be the same, we have to change. And maybe a longer explanation to understand why I said that. To be the same, we have to change because we are a body. This body is a complex engine, and because it is a complex engine, can host a divine nature. Okay, but the divine nature is too wide, is too big. We can't completely express a divine nature in one day, but also in one life, because it's too much. That's why we pass through different past lives, different lives in one life, and also many lives.
Many
Okay,
incarnations. Yes.
thank you, many incarnations. So when we are able to change, when we are able to apply a strategy, like Formica says, we can again be connected to our life, to our soul. We can again be connected to our soul. So we are always losing and founding again our connection with the divine during life, like a breath. Okay, we lose to reconquer. We forget in order to remember. So the change, in some way, is the main behavior of human being in order to be able to breathe as a divine nature, to forget and to remember. So again, in a nutshell, if you want to be constantly connected with our soul, we have to lost ourselves and refound ourselves with the change.
Bello. Bello, bello. Thank you, Nyomo. And you both touch in different moments a specific topic that I think is quite important when we talk about change. So, it's true that sometimes when we start, when initiate a change, it may be that for some people close to us, it's something they don't understand. It can be the partner, it can be the group of friends, it can be the family. And so it may be that the environment around us is sometimes, let's say, looking at us like weirdos, or like maybe try to protecting us from what we are doing, from the new ways that we are trying to face, but at the same time seem to become a limit. So it may be that we feel the desire to change our lifestyle, but this environment, it's maybe protecting us or limiting us to stay the same, to keep us to be the same. And I would like to touch this topic because most of the time we are afraid of change because we care about these people. We care about our friends, the situation that we do have. We don't want them to be, let's say, preoccupied with what we are doing, but we also want to accomplish them. And so we say, okay, maybe it's not the right time to do it, but I would love to change. I would love to completely change my life. So I would like to ask to you, Formica, and to you, Nyomo, in your own experience, starting from example to moving to Damanhur or to any other change, have you deal with this specific situation? Or if not, what would be your suggestion when on communication, on communicating with the people around you when you want to start a change and maybe feel them that they are pushing you back and not supporting you? So we are of course talking about the specific case when you feel that this, let's say, group or these people are not really in a support mode. For
Wow.
Mika, in your experience, has this happened or not, and what would you say?
What a good question.
Because it's true,
No, it's absolutely
it can
true.
happen.
I would say that and it's true because when we change something, we deal with energy, as we said before. And when we deal with energy, energy does not stay in a box unless, unless you really, but if you open the box, energy flows and of course affect the others. So even from the point of view of the subtle energy, I mean, the movement. So if someone really is in movement, the other ones will perceive it, even if the person does not change anything. But there is a new energy that is flowing, or at least is not changing anything from the point of view of the evidence, right? But
Yeah.
it's changing inside. So change deal with energy, energy deal with life, and so everybody is affected. A whole environment always. It's it's a tsunami effect. Unless a person live alone in the
And
mountain,
yeah, in that case, it's
well,
massive.
in that case, his change or her change will affect nature. Okay, but when in an environment, we are in an environment, and when we really need to change, and this change affect from any other point of view the others, what is, I think, the more important thing for me, what has been from my point of view and my experience, it has been that we don't have to mm, we don't have to justify our change because of the others. So when a change is a real strategy, as we said before, when a change is moved by a consciousness, the consciousness that we cannot be the same, the consciousness that we need to change, not because of the other, and not because it's a consequence, not because it's a reaction, and so it's not a remedy, but it's a strategy, it's a responsibility that you take in your life and this is the best way to change, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, your friends, your parents, your family, whatever it is, the environment that you have around, we need to clarify that there is not any reasons that comes from the others, so there's nothing wrong that is going on with the others. This is, for me, has been always the best point of change, even to communicate with the others. Now, because you don't, if the other ones feel affected somehow, that's their point to
Yeah.
work on their topics, on their ideas, or their way to interpret. When I have made big change in my life, it hasn't been because I have reacted, you know,
Yeah.
but because I made a choice to really go out of some boxes. And in this case, the other ones, well, they can understand, they cannot understand. It, we cannot change the others. The only thing that we can do is to change
It's
ourselves.
ourselves.
So if the others, they don't relate in a nice way, okay, you have to
Let it go.
accept it, right? And
It's
then
like
they are responsible, as you are responsible for your choices, they are responsible for their choice. We cannot be a consequence of someone else. We cannot accept this. If we accept to live as a consequence of the environment that is around us, we don't live. We survive in the worst way. Huh?
this is so deep. This is so deep.
That's
Mm.
my
Thank you, for Mika, for sharing your experience. So precious. Daniela wrote, for example, it's an exchange of love also with the others. So I think it's the topic that you said. So somehow we are not changing to go against the others. We are changing.
exactly.
We want to go out of these boxes. Go to your metaphor, and so it's starting, of course, from our free will. Gnomo, ha ha ha. Tu du 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 tu tu. What would you add to this specific question that, again, is concerning the others and also maybe the fear that we have to, let's say, not accomplish the others and all this mental treat that starts in our mind when we want to change something?
Yes. Um, in my experience in my life, it was always when we talk about big changes. especially when is not everything in harmonious, because my change means also to touch other people. For me, it was always a matter of courage, not easy at all. And when I found enough courage to do that change, not always, but when I did it, I discovered that if you are pure in your change, so if you're doing because you really love to change, because it's part of your evolution, it's part of your project. So we are not working in order to hurt some other person, but you're working in order to evolve your life without subtle needs connected to other people. So when the action is pure, also if the other people, they don't understand in that moment, they will, after that, they will feel that you were pure, and they will say that you were right into that change. This is what happened to me, and the few times that I have the courage to really achieve something like that, because
You have had many times.
Many, many,
sometimes
many.
You can say that.
sometimes not, because especially when talking about emotions or love, sometimes I wait a lot. I waited a lot before to change, because the fear was to give some pain to other people, to hurt
Exactly.
someone. Okay, but when I did it, and I was pure in my choice, so I think the challenge is to understand why you are going to change. If you're going to change because you need it, you are pushed from some other situation, this is not so good, like for Mika described in the very beginning of this chat. But if you spend some time to understand what you're going to do with a meditation, with having clear what are the real, you have to be honest with yourself, understand why you are going to change. If you are honest to yourself and you really understand why you're going to change, so there is a process. Again, we are talking about big change, okay, not because of salad or eggs this afternoon. I want to eat a salad, I want to eat an egg.
Other
Okay.
kind of dramas. Other kind of
Maybe
dramas.
another kind of another level of choice. We have to understand clearly. We have to be honest with ourselves, because if the action is pure, maybe not immediately, but the people, they will understand, and they will appreciate you, because they feel that you are true, that you are honest. Maybe after the moment of difficulties, after the moment of discussion and troubles, they will also appreciate you more and more, because they understand that you are a correct person, able to change. But
Bello.
again, we need courage to do that.
Thank you, Nyama, because you touched a couple of very important point, and also when you say that
Also in a spiritual path, okay.
sure.
Also, if we are doing a spiritual path, we are human.
Yeah, because we could also touch the topic that sometimes we don't that moment where we want to change and we don't do it. So it's true, it can happen that we don't have that courage sometimes, and maybe we wait for, let's say, another opportunity to do so. So it's true that sometimes we find that courage, it's true that sometimes we don't find that energy, that strength, but that doesn't mean that we are failed, that the life is end, that we're not gonna change anymore. Oh my god, I can do it. So but again, it's mental trip, mental games that play with us. And but it's good to say that. I think it's good to say that it's, I mean, we need courage, friends. We said before, groups help a lot, so others ask help to others. It's something start from us. It's also true that sometimes it may be that we don't have that energy, that chance maybe it's not really the one. That doesn't mean that we are wrong, that we have lost the chance of our life. Oh my God, everything is finished. This is why, in almost the end of this episode, I want to ask you, what has been your most important life change? So starting from now, if it's right to say, as Nyomo is saying many times, in a nutshell, right? It's right to say in a nutshell. So in a short way, what has been the most important change in your life? I mean, a little bit about the story, but about the core of that change. What was about to change? And if you can tell us as an inspiration, and also the chance to go through true life stories. Okay. So for Mika, if you want to start, what do you feel was your biggest moment of change in your life? I like
No,
to.
I
I
don't know
love
if
to
I
ask
can
this question. I
answer to
love to
this
ask.
question. I cannot. There, I have to be sincere. I really, honestly, I don't know what kind of change I can choose because there has been many,
And,
many
mhm.
moments that has been precious. So I don't know. I can choose the one which is more obvious, maybe, that I when I made the change, the choice to come to Damanhur, but
Yeah.
maybe even different, because when I was 21 years old, life was good. I was having my motorbike or my house, living by myself. I was having my books, my music, no TV, and I was happy. Okay, my friends, my nice environment. I was 5 minutes walking to Ponte Vecchio in Florence. I was such in a beautiful environment, artistic environment. Florence, it was beautiful, and providing for so much culture and art and creativity. Then life was good, but I was missing the sense of it because I was really not finding the reason why I should have been in that engine that where everybody we work, then we come back home, then we go out, then we go to pizza, we stay, we go to the movie, blah, 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 blah. It was, I felt that we were like little, what are the pigs? Not pigs. What are the ones that
Criceti.
with
I
the
don't know how to say criceti in English.
yeah, the little animal in the cage that are running, always the same story, right? In the little box. So
Hamsters. Yes.
okay, hamsters, great. So then I was 21. I was very young, but it was seems to me, oh my God, life cannot be all the same like this. So I I I was a reader of a lot of books. All my money, I was an electrician, and the few monies I was getting from my job, I was buying books and music. So then I was very lucky because I met Castaneda. And Castaneda, in the books of Carlos Castaneda, they were he was talking about the Toltec lineage. That has been the moment of my bigger change because I decided that I would have quit my job. I would have sold my motorbike, and I would have bought a ticket, a fly, only one way to Mexico to find the Castaneda's clan. That was a complete out of the box change. And I was so convinced to do that. And all my people, my friends, they were saying, no, you are crazy. Don't go. Don't do that. Because you, one girl in Mexico, you will die. And we will not, there were no personal phone. There was not internet, nothing
Yeah.
like that. It was 1982. Okay, 82, 83. And then I discovered Damanhur in a TV program. And I said, okay, I will go to visit Damanhur and let's see if that is the good. At least I want to see this curious place before to live forever. Okay. So when I arrived to Damanhur and I make the change completely different to stay in Damanhur, it was even smaller than the change to go to Mexico forever, you know. So somehow I that has been maybe the more amazing change. Even if I didn't do that, I was so convinced to do that that all the rest was super easy.
Bello.
Super easy. So sometimes we don't need even to make a change, but just to be ready to make that change allow you to have the benefits, to
Mhm.
receive the energy. So everything flow in a different way. So maybe this is the best story I can tell.
And we're gonna have next episode where you're gonna share just you all the other crazy episode
Ah, but
also about.
okay.
Let's
We
see.
have many, even
Thank
we
you.
have many
I'm
of
sure.
them.
I'm sure. Thank you for Mika for sharing your experience. Gnomo, it's your time. Do you want to share with us what has been for you at the moment, right now, what you consider right now the biggest change that you have done in your life, and what was about?
Yes, I think that 10 years ago I would have answered that was the moment of my initiation in Damanhur, because of course it was a moment where I was very young. I was 17 years old, and for me was a big challenge because my family was afraid about the fact that I was changing my life, going somewhere else, and so on. But but now I think that the very big change I did in my life is another one. It's more recent, less than 10 years ago, when I chosen to change my approach to life and my approach to research, to my spiritual path, uh, in order to stop to do many things and to research many fields and to keep open many doors, to choose only once and to focus my energy in one specific aspect, one specific research. For me, it was a moment where I really died in some way because I had to leave many things and to put all my the energy of my life in something that for me was, my my own primary mission. I was I was
Wow.
I spent a couple of years in troubles because the idea was to lose many things. Of course, after that, after I did it, I understood that eventually nothing was lost, but my life completely changed because I started to really focus my energies in something that can complete. But until I did it, it was scary and it was a challenge. That I think is more than the moment of my initiation. It's because I had to do something that I really don't like to do, is to choose something and to, because I'm Aquarius, my sign is Aquarius, so I want to spread myself in many things. But so
Yeah,
I understood that was the moment to focus myself in one research.
it's one of the topic that maybe about change that we haven't touched yet. Thank you, Nyomo. That is sometimes change is also letting go something, like kind of
Always.
losing or
Mm.
renouncing to something for something unknown. So it's like jumping into something completely new as part of your story that you say now. So it may be that we have the perception that we are losing something, but actually maybe it's because we haven't yet discover what's the new thing that we are jumping into, and at the end is never something lost, but maybe it's something completely different that we didn't expect. But that's a feeling that I think it's quite common when we do changing from
Yeah.
your stories. It's really clear.
Can I add a little things?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Uh, I'm a um, I'm a trainer. I'm a teacher of the Damanhurian different topics, and it was a moment in my life when I was really frustrated because I was always teaching with many people that were interested in many topics, but they were not really going deeper into the topics. I was really frustrated. I started to think that I was not a good teacher. And someone, a friend of mine, suggested to look at your students, look at you. Are you really going deeper into something? And I understood that, you know, before to ask for something outside of me, I was the first action was to change something inside of me. From that moment on, when I changed that my approach, I completely lost this sense of frustration. And my, of course, some student is always flowing everywhere, but inside of me, everything changed. So it was also a play between in and out, like always.
Amazing. Thank you, Nyama.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Nyama. Thank you for Mika for sharing this experience in this episode. I think that at the end of everything is the most important part because our living stories full of emotions, and we could keep on talking about hours about all this topic. I think we have faced it quite deep, let's say, conversation about change, from the funniest part to the, let's say, hardest part. And from what I see also from the comments, all of you that are following us are quite happy. And again, whenever you have questions or conversations you want to start with us, feel free to write in the communities, in Instagram, in the different groups. So in the next episode, we can go back to it and continue to talk. And we call it Damanhur Talks because it wants to be a moment of sharing where we can feel connected, where we can all feel that this change, in this case, is possible for everyone. So it's something that it can be really for everyone. It's not just because someone is more special or more cool. No, it starts from, as we've seen tonight, from courage, from strength, from a moment, from many different situations, but it's an energy that is inside every one of us, and friends, groups asking for help. And I mean, I think that's quite a good point also for me
Yeah.
to start. Yeah, go on,
And
Yama.
I also really appreciated the people in the chat. They were sharing something, also personal. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
For Mika and Nyomo, as I always say, do you want to add something? Or no, I would say like that. Please, in the end of the episode, just with a simple sentence, underline what is your feeling about this topic that we touched tonight. Let's say the thing that you most want to underline after all these things that we have said, that you feel most important, the message or whatever that you want to leave at the end of it, like putting the in the bottle, the top, I think, in the bottle, and close this episode with a simple message that you want to underline, just to close it, and then say goodbye.
You want a last question, which is not easy, eh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Go with your
the only,
emotion.
I think that just because I don't want to keep people here for other 20 minutes, I would say that a big inspiration is nature. When you feel stuck, somewhere, just look outside, look what happened in the little garden that you have, look at, the trees, look at the animals, ask yourself, why I cannot be like this. No, that is that is natural for them to adapt themselves to new things, to new situations, to a new temperature, to a new to everything, you know, and take inspiration by life and nature.
Thank you, Formica. Thank you so much. Nyomo, do you want to underline something? Or your
Uh,
message at the end of the episode?
because of my background, I can say that we many times we think about change as a mountain we have to climb. Maybe we have found we have to think about the change not as a mountain that we have to climb, but as a door that we have to open.
Wow. Thank you. Nyomo, with this one, you really another
Bravo!
level. Bravo, philosopher. So thank you, Nyomo. Thank you, Formica. Thanks to all the people that are helping to create this episode. Of course, thanks to all of you that has been here with us tonight. And please, please share the words with all your friends and people around it. They may be they maybe appreciate this kind of meetings. Leave a like if you're on your YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. I mean, support us as you can, and we're gonna meet in the next episode soon. So thank you for Mick again. Thank you, Nyomo, and let's see everyone in the next episode. Con voi.
Con
Con voi, con
voi.
voi.